Hi, it's Red-Headed Riding Hood here, red for short. I'm going to read you William Barclay's Daily Celebration. This is closed part 2. Now, we turn to reasons that oppose formal dress on communion occasions. It's funny, at my church, we have communion every Sunday, and it's very casual. Like my pastor had shorts and flip-flops on Sunday. And he preached and he served communion with his wife. So yeah. Now we turn to reasons that oppose formal dress on communion occasions. Certainly such dress is archaic and anachronistic. It is seldom or never worn anywhere now except at weddings. This was not so 40 years ago. My own father usually wore such clothes every day in life for his work as a bank manager, but now such dress has almost entirely passed from the scene. Even its last survival in shop walkers in the great and expensive shops hardly survives now. This may be yet another of the many things which to the ordinary person is an image of the church as an institution which lives in the past. It could be argued that there is a certain social snobbery in this. It could be argued that this is a symptom of the fact that perhaps there was a day when the church did in fact draw its office bearers from the class of the community which wore such clothes, from a day when the laird was much more likely to be an elder than the plowman. So that's like a rich person, and it's a Scottish term. He's in Scotland. And the master much more likely to be an elder than the artisan. If ever there was such a day, then it belongs to the discredit rather than to the credit of the church. And if any practice seems to suggest it, then the sooner the practice is abandoned, the better. So it's good that this is over. But the great argument against it is quite simple. It is quite bluntly that of expense. We are in certain congregations laying it down as a condition of the eldership that a man will be able to buy a certain kind of clothing. Is it the church losing young men who would make excellent elders but who are buying a house and paying for furniture and meeting the expenses of a young family? We would do well to remember the Pope's famous couplet: "Worth makes the man, and want of it the fellow. The rest is all but leather or prunella." That's interesting. Some of this seems outdated even, because, yeah, I apologize for that, but I find it interesting to look up these things, and even though, this was written in the 70s, I find a lot of it is still relevant to today if we look up terms and words he uses, and perhaps history. It is men we need that what they wear within the limits of decent respectability. It is men we need that wear within the limits of decent respectability is what they wear within the limits of decent respectability is totally irrelevant. And women. So it's the pastor and his wife and the associate pastor and his wife that serve communion every Sunday at my church. So tomorrow, I said before that this book was written in the 70s, but it's interesting that tomorrow's is about the Kennedy assassination. So even though this was published in the 70s, some of it must have been written in the 60s, because that was 1963, the year that my ex-husband and my brother were born. They were born earlier in the year, but yeah, that was November 1963, which is going to be tomorrow's, and it's on conflict. Okay. Don't say that no one cares for you, because I do, and God does too. Don't forget to pray for Red, because Red is praying for you. I'm going live at 5:30. I'll see you there. Bye.